Okay, so today I want to talk about the number one mistake I see fitness business owners making in finance specifically that holds them back and almost strangles their ability to grow and expand and build that business of their dreams. So when it comes to finance, so many of us in fitness we got in here for the heart, we got in here for the people, we got in here for the fun, the transformation, and we almost roll our eyes when we start hearing people talk about finance. But deep down, there's this insecurity that we don't really know what we're doing, and we're driving our business to the ground. And how is it possible that we're not making the profit that we want every year? Even I see a ton of people in fitness, and this is business in general, but not paying themselves because they're worried they don't, kind of like taking what's left and paying themselves. And I want to talk about the biggest thing that I see happening, that if we can clarify this and streamline this could be a breakthrough moment for you in your business. And that has to do with break even, otherwise known as what is your margin. And if you've been around the business block once or twice, you hear this and you feel like you should nod and be like, yeah, what's my break even? Oh, that margin, gotta know that margin. But like, do you know what it is? Right? Okay, if you feel like kind of cringeworthy in that last statement, you're in the right spot, because I love teaching people about this. I am not even a numbers person. I'm just a total geek about running a better business. And if you can teach me how to run a better business, you have my attention. And if I have your attention, you're like me like that. So let's talk about finances. Here's what I see happening a lot. And it's so easy to fall into this trap, but I literally look at it as like, this is quicksand in your business, don't fall for it. And that is the whole gut instinct, yes to an expense move. Somebody says, hey, so-and-so, and it almost always, if you're like me, it's almost always when you're walking out the door, when you're going to a meeting, when you're literally in transit, someone flags you down and says, hey, you know, the MyZone thing or the software that we have, or hey, the cups that we ordered, we need like 20 more. Do you mind if we just put in another order for cups? And you don't know. You're like, I mean, what's 20 order of cups? Is it like a $200 expense? Yeah, probably it's around $200 expense, but you don't maybe know. And you're like, oh, you need 20 of those? Yeah, and you keep going. And you don't think about it. So $200, can you afford $200 this month? I don't know, let's pretend it's December. It's not a great month in your business. Why? Because everybody's binge eating and in holiday mode, and they're just not here for fitness. Because why? I'll deal with you in January. December tends to be a super expensive inventory month. Fine if you're super profitable, no problem. Buy all the things. Get ready for the next calendar year. Pay less in taxes. I'm here for that. But don't just make a hip shot reaction to something you don't really know the data on. And so here's what I see happening is people going yes to something and looking later at the month and the accountant's like, you lost $2,000. What? And you go back through your credit card and you go back into the numbers and you start highlighting random things that you said yes to, right? Sound familiar? I've done it too, I get it. I'm not here to be the queen of everything around finance, but here's what I've found to be super successful is you need to understand what your break even is. And I am gonna link down in the comments a template that I'm just gonna share with you because it's so important to your business. Download that and run the numbers. Where you wanna start with is if you look at the last 6 months, just take 6 months, and where are all your expenses and itemize them out, total in 6 months. So if you spend $100 on your phone system, then at 6 months, that's $600, right? $600, great. Get all the totals down there. You want some aggregate. So something like 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, if you just really want to be epic. I would say no more than 12 months to make it more pertinent to today. And I want you to total all that up in that. I've actually just done it for you in the template, but you get the total and that extrapolates your average monthly spending, and that average monthly spending gives you the total dollars that you can anticipate spending in your business each and every month, assuming you don't make extreme purchases. And so when you know that number, and let's just say it's $10,000. Let's just say every month, $10,000 is pretty much accounted for between all the different softwares, the rent, your people, some marketing, and some of those little things that you forget about, like taxes or office supplies or the cleaning supplies, all the little things that you don't think about, but they add up. Let's just say it's 10 grand. And you have what's called cost of goods sold, which is another kind of roll your eye moment, but you have this margin, like what do you have to pay for every dollar that comes in? How much is going right away to paying something before you're able to put it to your business? And a lot of people include staff payroll in that number. In professional services, staff payroll is the bulk. I mean, rent and your people, and then fitness, those are typically like the biggest bites into your budget. And so where I said staff before is expenses, typically that's your administrative staff. Your coaching staff tends to go above the line in fitness, right? Everything below are predictable expenses that typically do not change by the month. Above are all the variables that change relative to volume of the sales. That's the number, right? That's the key number. And so if you say, okay, I have 10 grand every month that's predictable, but I've got a fluctuating, it doesn't matter, but for every dollar coming in, I know that, let's just say 25 cents is going to that trainer. 75 cents goes to the rest. Then you know when you say yes to something, you can't say yes to something unless you're bringing in enough revenue to cover the difference. So let's be super simple with the math here. $10,000 in expenses. You pay your coach 25 bucks per $100 you collect. Let's just say that's average. And you're like, Peyton, it's not average. It's like chasing a moving target. Yes, that's why it's not in the predictable expense category and it's up here, where it's a percentage typically where you're going. Let's just say 20% goes into the pockets of your team. So now you need to say for $100 that came in, $20 of that is going to the team, and the rest I have for expenses. So before you say yes to the $200 sale, you need to know that that $200, you don't just need to go make $200 with a sale for a first-time client. You need to make $200 plus an extra 25% on top of that, right? And so $250 is what you have to go and sell. I prefer having a sales-driven organization. What do I mean by that? I mean that instead of trying to cut and trim the costs down and get to be Ebenezer Scrooge with your finances, you say, I'm willing to say yes to 10 or 20 more cups, but I know that I need to go and close Joe, who I had a beer with last night, who was so close to buying. And if I can do that, then that'll be 200 bucks to Joe. Okay, that's about 200 bucks. Okay, I'm still shy about 20, but I can sell Joe that supplement line. Oh, don't get stuck there because you only make 40% on the supplement line. So now you still gotta work more with Joe. Joe's not there. Joe can't get you that 250 bucks, but until you say yes to this, you need to know how you're generating enough sales to cover this. And don't just cover it with product that you get small margin in. If this makes any sense to you, awesome. If this is confusing, I want you to write in the comment section below where it feels confusing, and we can do an entire training on this. My point is, it's very important to not just say yes in a gut reaction to expenses as you're walking out the door, and to be super responsible to know, do I really have the budget this month? And am I confident that I can generate enough sales to have that margin taken care of for all those variable expenses? And at the end of the day, I can still cover my overhead, is what it's called, for the expenses that typically don't change. And if you can do that consistently and you understand that relationship, you're gonna run a good business, and you can even get profitable, because the more no's you say to extra expenses, the more the money trickles down to that bottom line, which is your lifeline as a business owner. All right, if you liked today's video, I want to invite you to like and subscribe to this channel, because this is the channel where we share tips, tricks, give education, small little nuggets that you can have in bite-sized form to be able to transform your business and really build something and a life that you're proud of. So like and subscribe, and go ahead and comment if you have any ideas for new videos that we could shoot for you that would help you, or what you've specifically liked about this, because I do get into these comments and really enjoy reading your thoughts.